What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another awesome day in the power washing business. It is May 30th. It's a Friday, May 31st. I don't know. It's Friday. All I know is I got 2 jobs in the books for me today. I'm kind of tackling all the little jobs while our team is handling all the big jobs on the truck for the last couple weeks until we find someone who is willing and capable to actually go and run our second truck. And I'm actually having fun running the second truck, just doing these little bitty jobs, driveway cleanings, little back patios, small house washes. I'm having fun out there. But today I'm actually going to show you guys some how-to videos. I know it's been a long time since I've even made how-to videos, but I'm getting a large influx of people interested in the business. A lot of people joining my my school community where I kind of teach you how to go and grow this business into a 6-figure revenue stream for you. I'll drop that link down below. I have a lot of people going through it and having a lot of success. I'm really appreciative and thankful for all you guys. I'm gonna make some how-to videos today, and specifically with driveway cleanings. The most basic thing you guys can do in the pressure washing business. This is your foundation, concrete cleaning. This is how I got started. This is how it's a great way to get started in pressure washing, is doing some concrete cleaning. Okay, so I'm at the shop right now. This is our shop. We got our 2 trucks right here and our trailer, and this is our chemical situation over here. I'm gonna pump up some chemical in my truck and we'll get going to the first job. All right, guys, we're on job number 1. Welcome to pressure washing foundational concrete cleaning. Okay, so on this concrete cleaning, pretty straightforward. Obviously, we're just gonna power wash it, but that's not the only thing we're gonna do. We're going to use a chemical bleach, and we're going to treat it. Now, a lot of guys, you can do 2 things. You can pre-treat this concrete with the chemical and then surface clean it. Some people just do that. Some people pre-treat the concrete and then they surface clean it and then they post-treat it. Some people do that as well. I used to do that. But then some people just surface clean it and then they post-treat it. That is now how we do all of our concrete cleanings, for several reasons. I'll get into that probably with a voiceover in one of these in the next couple clips I'll share with you guys. But the point of the treatment is to kill all this organic growth. So much like, washing dishes with dish soap, washing your laundry with detergent, you have to use some kind of cleaning detergent or chemical to truly clean this concrete. Concrete's very porous, so you use bleach, which is what we have in the back here, and we'll set it on an appropriate setting. That's going to dig into these pores and just kill and rip out all this mold, mildew, algae, anything that, black, green that you can see on concrete. That's usually what it is. If you were to not use any chemical, I'll show you exactly what that's going to look like. You'll most likely leave lines in the concrete. You're not going to be able to get all of that black or mold off. And that's just it. So we'll hook up the surface cleaner. We'll get right to surface cleaning. We're not going to waste any time, guys. We're going to hook up the water to the spigot, which I'm assuming is right here. And it is. We'll always check to make sure that works. Good water flow. And I'll hook up the GoPro and we'll get right to it. Alrighty, guys, let's get right to it. Fire up the machine. Real quick, guys, before I get deeper into the instructional, I want to tell you guys about a huge convention. It's the biggest power washing convention and expo in the world, and it will be held in Nashville this August. There will be dozens of speakers from some of the biggest home service business owners in the country. I'll be there along with a bunch of other people that you may have seen on YouTube. You guys can use my link down below and use the code to get $50 off your ticket. That will be the second link in the description. Alrighty, guys, stepping right into this surface cleaning here. So one thing I like to do when I'm surface cleaning, instead of just kind of, running my surface cleaner all over the place, I like to kind of create a border. Usually I'll start with just one end, and then I'll just, make my border on the right side or the left side, and then I'll just start snaking it. And then you just kind of, as soon as you guys get some experience, you guys will create your own workflow. But typically I like just to start from left to right, just going up and down, up and down. One thing you guys will see is obviously there's lines behind. Now, some guys will just go really, really slow with the surface cleaner and just try to get as much of those lines off as possible. You can see, like, as I'm moving the surface cleaner, even to the left side here, you guys see there's still surface cleaner lines. That's completely fine, unless it's really, really bad. Sometimes you do need to slow down. However, I find that I can go at a relatively decent speed, given my equipment, 8 gallon per minute. If you're rocking a 2.5 gallon a minute or a 4 gallon or a 5.5, you might need to go a little slower. But with our equipment, and you guys will just see this on your own equipment, we find that we can go at a decent, moderate speed and just use our chemical, our post-treatment to go ahead and cover those staining, the rest of the staining there. Obviously, after you've done surface cleaning, you'll want to rinse all that down. And now you can really see here the lines that are left behind. Again, that's completely fine. We're going to use a 3.5 to 4% post-treatment mix. And that's really going to dig in there. And you'll see how the effects of that are going to be on this concrete. It's going to really just brighten that up. Alrighty guys, now that we have the surface cleaning finished, we're going to work on the next step in the process, which is getting all of the corners fixed. Now, like I've already said, guys, don't even mind the stripes in the driveway. Okay, we are following a process here. All that's going to get taken care of. But the surface cleaner cannot hit some of these corners. And so before I go to apply chemical, I always get my long lance out, which is sitting right over there. And you'll go over there and you'll hit all your corners, all the things that the surface cleaner couldn't hit. So it's those, those edges, and then the edges, of course, at the end of the driveway. So we'll hook that up real quick, take care of that, and we'll move on to the post-treatment. Now we have arguably the most important part of the whole process, which is applying our post-treatment, applying our chemical. We can see, and I'm well aware of the lines there. Here's how we fix that. A post-treatment, okay? Shout out to All Clean Power Wash Systems. These are the guys that build all of our equipment here. They're out of Virginia. They do a kick-ass job. Even tells you exactly, you guys can screenshot this if you want, the different percentages for whatever you're cleaning here. Pretty nice little guide they give you here, but we need to post-treat this. So when I'm cleaning driveways, I'm using about a 3 to 4. And I'm actually gonna cut the difference in half, do 3.5% on this driveway. Should knock it right out of the park, and that'll clear up all those lines. And not only that, it's actually gonna dig into those pores and keep this concrete cleaner for a lot longer, as opposed to if you just surface clean it, which a lot of people do, but then they wonder why their driveways are still dirty like 6 months later. And we're in the rain season, so it's susceptible to get dirtier even quicker. So we're gonna get our soft wash hose out. This is powered by a 12 volt, and we're gonna post treat all of this stuff. All right, guys. Now that I have the driveway surface cleaned and post treated, you can see all these lines are almost away by now. Another couple minutes, it'll all be gone. Now we're gonna get into the front porch. Now we sell a front concrete cleaning. That's to include the front porch, the walkways on each side, and of course the driveway. Sometimes we do the back patio, but in this case we're not doing the back patio. Sometimes the front porches are not concrete. Sometimes you have this nice tile here. So how do you do that? Well, you have to, it comes with experience, but in this case, we don't surface clean anything that's not concrete. So in this case, it being this kind of slated tile, we're just gonna apply a treatment on it. It's not even that dirty. I do see over here, there's a little bit of black growth, so that'll be fine. But of course, in the covered area, it's nothing. So we'll just apply the same post-treatment that we're using on this concrete, a 3.5%. I can get away with doing a 2%. I can get away with probably doing a 1%. But in this case, I already have the 3% in my line here. I'm just gonna go ahead and use that on here. Let it sit for another few minutes, and we will rinse this. I am going to rinse this. I don't want my customer walking on this and having this area smell. This stuff is not too porous as in comparison to that concrete. So on the concrete, we will let that dry out. I'm not rinsing this concrete. This is a wet and forget process. The sun's coming out. This whole driveway will dry up in the next 2 hours or so. And it'll look even better as soon as that stuff just sits in the pores, and it just really brightens up that concrete. But with this, I'm gonna go ahead and start here. And again, same process, spraying away from the door. I can actually just feather my trigger like that, and now spray away. This is why I like the 12 volt, because I want to be sensitive when I'm spraying around here, because I have that plant here, and I also have these two nice plants here. Instead of going full blast, I can actually just kind of feather the trigger and spray just nicely around my sides. Something you really can't do with a gas soft wash system or like an X-Jet. Very, very hard to do. And I can just spray the middles. Again, feather right next to my two gorgeous plants right there. Great. Now we are done. We'll let that sit for a few minutes. We'll rinse that and we'll see how everything looks. I know I was talking about things that are important on a job site to do. Obviously surface cleaning and applying your chemical is important, but probably that's up there with the other most important thing is flushing your system. Now you guys probably, either you do have a blend manifold system or you don't. A lot of you guys that are brand new, you probably don't have one. In this case, the point is we want to flush out our 12 volt. Now my 12 volt pump is in here. It's powered by this blend manifold system. I'm going to turn my chemical to 0. That's going to now flush this line. If I sit here with the trigger on, take about 2 minutes, I'm now going to get all of my chemical out of my line. I'm going to flush out my pump. I'm going to flush out this whole blend manifold system. Now, if you guys are batch mixing, how that would look is you just take your dipstick, take it out of your batch mix tank, wherever you're pulling your chemical from, and just put that in like a 5-gallon bucket full of water and just get all that chemical out. Now, a lot of you guys, can ask, can I do that at the end of the day? I don't flush at the end of the day. Well, I do obviously flush at the end of the day, but I always flush after every single job. I just want to I'm just OCD with my stuff. I want to make sure that I'm not driving 40 minutes to my next job and I have a bunch of, very potent, powerful chemical sitting in my my pumps. These pumps that we use, we buy the Water Dragon pumps from the power wash store. Very durable, probably the most durable pumps I've ever used. However, the reason why we maintain their durability is the fact that we flush after every single job. It's just an OCD thing. I probably go through 1 pump a year, where some guys go through several pumps a year. So that just goes to show you, if you take care of your stuff, it'll take care of you. Whenever I'm rolling up my soft wash hose, here's another thing. Always pick up your soft wash hose and drag it to your truck. Because if you were to just, start rolling your soft wash hose, whether you have a crank up hose system, or maybe you have a, electric, or maybe you have like an electric Hane hose reel like I do. Either way, you don't want to start pushing the button or reeling up your hose and having your soft wash gun just chilling out in the grass, because these little things right here are so delicate. It could catch a root, catch a rock, and all of a sudden you break up your you break your trigger, and then you're out the whole day. That's assuming you don't have an extra. So I'm always going to put my soft wash gun and lay it right here when I'm rolling up my soft wash hose. All right, so I've flushed out my system. Everything's already done here. Here's the next pro tip for you guys. All I have is water in my soft wash hose right here, and I already know I have my chemical off. There's nothing but water coming in and out of my soft wash pump, and it's in that hose right here. Now, I know for a fact every single one of these hoses have chemical on it because they've been sitting on this driveway getting post-treated on. So I'm just gonna take my soft wash hose, rinse it all down. And the way my skid is oriented, it actually has this little lip, and it sends water out the truck. So it's not going inside of my truck, it's going out of the truck. So I like to just spray down my stuff. Keep everything lasting a little bit longer, guys. That's what it's all about. Got that sprayed down really good. Put that away. Come over here. Turn off my pump. Now here's another thing too. Whenever you have your soft wash pump on, if you go and turn it off, what most likely you're gonna have is a bulge right here. Okay, the bulge is there, right there. If you guys can see that, and it looks like it's about to burst, but it's on there pretty good. You don't want to leave that like that, because those hoses do have a breaking point after such amount of time of just getting stretched out. You always want to come over here and relieve that pressure. Relieve that pressure. Get that bulge out of there. And just go until it's just about like that. Now I can kind of come back over here and know that there's no pressure. As you can see, there's no pressure. I can squeeze it now. There's no pressure on my soft wash pump, no pressure on my hose, no chemical in the line. Everything's flushed out. And I know when I get to the next job, I'm gonna be prepared. Look at that. Beautiful driveway. Let's get on to the next one. All right, we're all set up on job number 2, the last job for me today. Just knocking out some baby ones today. We're gonna sail into the weekend beautifully. Cool, we're just doing driveway, front patio, and this walkway here. Now, coming over here to the front patio, we have this little limestone connection right here. So we are going to use something a bit stronger for this. A post-treatment's not really going to necessarily knock that out too well if I'm using a 3% mix. That's why I always have a pump-up sprayer on deck. I actually fill the pump-up sprayer with full straight 12.5% whenever I just want to knock something out of the park. That'll be perfect for that. But just kind of going over here, you know, you guys know my process. I actually have a full water tank. I don't need to fill up water right now. 200-gallon water tank in the back. You can see it's filled to the brim. This might take me literally 10 minutes. So we're not going to hook up to water. We're just going to get out our power wash hose and we'll just, again, start surface cleaning. We don't need to apply pre-treatment. This is a bit worse than obviously the last driveway. So we'll just see. We'll see how it looks. But we'll try with just a straight surface clean. We'll see how it looks. Obviously, there's going to be lines in it. And we'll hit it with a hot post-treatment. Maybe we'll go 4.5% on the post-treatment. And yeah, let's get it going. Oh, you guys, this is post surface cleaning. Didn't even put down any chemical yet, and it's actually, this driveway was worse than the other driveway. Yet this driveway doesn't have as bad of lines as the other ones did. I did go a little bit slower on the surface cleaner. Some people will say, you know, Austin, just go slower on the surface cleaner and your lines will come off. No, sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes that can be true, but I find the slower you go, not only does it add more time to the job, and sometimes it doesn't even allow those lines to come off. These areas actually went pretty damn slow, and you can see there's still lines there. You're gonna have lines. Concrete's porous, okay? So a lot of that mold and mildew and algae is several layers below the surface level. You can take a white tip or a yellow tip to some of this stuff, and you're not gonna get that algae to come off. You have to use chemical. So I find if I have to use chemical anyway, might as well just kind of go at a decent speed, and then get done with the surface cleaning. Apply post-treatment, we'll let it sit. So I wanted to use this clip as just another opportunity to tell you guys about the importance of just bordering your concrete. You'll see right here, I start to create my border again. I just find that a lot of the times where you have a lot of plant or grass disruption because of the chemical, it's because you're just spraying away on the post-treatment. Create your border and then spray in between the border. That way you don't get any overspray on that awesome grass. Over here, turn that pump off. Look at that driveway, it looks fantastic. Release the pressure. And now we're ready to go to the next job. And that, my friends, is a completed project that took exactly 35 minutes. I was able to start my time and stop my time on House Call Pro or CRM. I logged 35.5 minutes. That's surface clean, post-treat, and then talk to the customer, collect payment. That was a $350 job. And we're rolling out of here. The first one was also a $350 job as well. So made $700 today, just doing a couple little ones. Not too bad, not too bad. Alrighty guys, we are back at the house. Hey, really appreciate you guys tuning in with me for this video. This is the first part of my instructional series on how to power wash. I'm not gonna gatekeep instructionals on how to actually do power washing, as in the physical activity of cleaning. A lot of that stuff is actually readily available online and it's all free on YouTube. However, I do realize for you to kind of get the aspect of how I perform cleaning, you really have to surf through my channel, because what my channel is all about and what my paid program is about, like I talked about earlier, link down below by the way, is really how to go out there and get jobs, how to get customers, how to build your business to a six-figure revenue source, right? Hence the course, six-figure pressure washing. That's what my course is about. I don't charge you guys on how to power wash stuff. That being said, I want to do a whole series on YouTube, an instructional series on how to clean. So that's concrete cleaning, house washing, roof cleaning, windows, and the whole 9 yards. So this is my first part of my series, concrete cleaning, really basic stuff. If you're brand new, this is some of the first stuff you guys have got to really nail. And this is what I talk about in my paid program too. Start off with stuff that you can do that's really easy. Concrete cleaning, back patios, sidewalks, walkways, all the stuff that it's like, dude, you can't not mess it up. It's so easy, guys. You can go out there and earn a couple $100 for 30 minutes to an hour's worth of your time. It's easy money, guys. So really appreciate you guys tuning in on this video. If you guys got any kind of value, entertainment from this video, do hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. And if you guys want to check out my paid program on school, you guys can check that out. It's going to be the first link in the description as well. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.